My people, a failed coup d'etat in Mali. Yes, Mali, that's the map. Coup d'etat, you know what it is? I know you know because you know. Not everybody understands. The coup d'etat is basically when they take power by force, when they sometimes unalive the president. Some other time they don't unalive the president, they just get him out of office. You know, they put a gun on his head and tell him to shut up. That's it. You're done. Somebody else is going to take power. Well, failed coup d'etat, at least they knew exactly what was going to happen and many people have been arrested. You're going to find out about that just now. What's happening, everybody? I hope you're doing good. Beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping by. Before we start, can I ask you to do this? Can you all just do this? It costs you nothing. We feel appreciated. It's done. Great. Now, in Mali, let's start with the decoy. Okay, Mali army has seized 20 inflatable vehicles, and it said was intended to be used by armed group operating in the country. So basically, these people come up with something like, I mean, this is out of the movies, like cars, but inflatable. They look like Land Cruisers. You know, Land Cruisers are used by many terrorists. Now, you must ask yourself a question. Where do these guys get brand new Land Cruisers? They're supposed to be terrorists, illegal. I mean, no country is supposed to sell weapons to terrorist groups. Who sells them those cars? Question mark. Now, they do that to try to protect themselves from drone attacks. So basically, the Malian government has been acquiring, modern drones to try and find out where the terrorists are, and they will bomb them. Now, the terrorists have come with decoys, inflatable decoys. Crazy stuff. Who's giving them the decoys? I'm asking, do you know? I know you know. The country's military released footage showing inflatable cars, some resembling Land Cruisers. Malian state television reported that armed groups operating in the country plan to use them decoys to trick drones into wasting expensive missiles and firing at them. Very, very clever. I mean, this is something that big countries use. The Russians use decoy. The Ukrainians had been using decoys. Who's giving these people these ideas? Question mark. What are the cost of the decoy? The decoy cost about $1,300, as opposed to a real car that costs a lot more money. They just waste this cheap decoy. I mean, $1,300 is not that cheap either. So you must ask yourself a question. How did terrorists get so much $1,300? Where from? Question mark. The Malian government has accused many times France of equipping these people. I mean, you look at the map. This is Mali. Mali was colonized by France, one of those countries. They were beaten up, they were shocked and stuff like that. After the independence, they were told, like other countries in Africa, we are going still to run you, whether you like it or not. Not like that. But yeah, okay, we are going to run you. Meaning, yeah, your economy is going to be within our hands. We're going to print your currency, meaning Mali uses a currency that is printed in France, same as Niger, Burkina Faso, Benin. They all use that currency from France. Unlike the British, they came to Africa, they stole, they looted, they went back. The French wanted to stay. They wanted to stay, not physically, but their money is used by you. And your money is linked to their money in France. They do everything commercially for you. So Mali has been ridden by terrorists for a long time, and the government is trying very hard to fight them. And you're going to find out all the details just now. So because Mali has gone through so many coups d'etats, right now, 45 Malian soldiers, including 2 generals, were arrested on the weekend for attempts to destabilize the institutions of the Sahel country. So as you can see, Malian soldiers were arrested. Now the question you must ask yourself is, why so many coups d'etats? It's very simple. One of the easiest ways to separate black people is bring money between them. Bring power between them. Bring ruling, bring control. That's what it is. That's how they sold their brothers going to slavery in Brazil, in the Caribbean, in America. Yeah, I know some Americans here don't believe that their ancestors came from Africa. We're not talking about those ones. We're not talking to them either. We're talking to our brothers that are, hey, I salute you. So back in time, some of those chiefs, they maybe didn't take money as money, but they took gifts and things and mirrors and to let people go. It's very sad. You look in the past to see the future. Thomas Sankara, this man right here, he was pro-women. He allowed many women in his parliament. This is a long time ago. Thomas Sankara encouraged black people to sow their own food, to stop begging.
Our country produces more than enough. Indeed, it produces a substantial amount, enough to comfortably feed ourselves and even contribute to global food security. We could even exceed our own production, unfortunately. Due to a lack of organization, we are still forced to reach out and ask for food aid. This food aid, which profoundly holds us back from progress, which subtly influences our decisions and autonomy, which deeply instills within our minds this pervasive habit, these ingrained reflexes of beggars, of individuals who have become utterly dependent on external assistance, thereby hindering their own self-sufficiency and inherent dignity.
Start cultivating. Thomas Sankara said, don't buy liver straws, all these expensive clothes. How about we start buying from our own people? Thomas Sankara told these people from the government, I don't want any of you to drive Mercedes anymore. That's it. You don't have to because it's too expensive. We could use that money to finance somebody's school. How about you use this cheap? These are the cars they were using. Thomas Sankara said to everybody, listen, from now on, if you're traveling, no governmental human or person or representative will travel business class anymore. That's it. It's too much money we're wasting. We could invest in some child's life. If you take off, the airplane takes off, business class people take off, economic take off too. When the plane lands, business class people land, economics land too. Matter of fact, if the plane crashes, mostly business class people die before everybody else.
We impose them on the government. On whom? On the members of the government to whom we impose a very modest lifestyle. Our ministers are not allowed to travel in first class on airplanes. They fly in economy class. And even when it's possible to have them travel by charter flights, we do so.
So, that's what he said. And imagine a person like that. They unalived him. Somebody that says, we don't need money from them anymore. They unalived him. This is the guy that unalived him. His best friend. Because of what? Because of power and money. That's the point I'm saying. Why is Mali the way it is today? Mali is here today because this president, Koita, took power from this previous president, Keita. You can see this President Keita. Why did President Keita kicked out? He was kicked out because they thought that he was useless. Why was he useless? Keita was president fighting terrorists. And while he was fighting terrorists, he said on TV that we are not strong enough to fight the terrorists. He literally said the terrorists are stronger than us. Listen to what he said. He said, yes, there is a moment when the enemy is stronger than us. We must accept that. And that's why we need support. I mean, the president coming on TV while the country is at war, saying the enemy is stronger than us. What kind of morale are you giving to your soldiers that have sacrificed their life to go fight? What kind of mental strength people need morale to go fight. Are you telling them, oh, we know they are stronger than us? Actually, you don't do that. So people were very, very angry. There was a major uproar. And that is when the group of soldiers here took over. They said, you're not doing anything. Matter of fact, you're not investing anything into this army. What you're doing is you're bringing in French people to come fight the war for us. They won't stay here forever because the country is paying them millions of dollars every single day. Every day, we're paying them about $20 billion for them to fight terrorists. Now, by them fighting terrorists, it looked like they were not quite fighting terrorists. Okay, it looked like they're fighting, but they're not fighting. Meaning, if you're getting $20 million a day to do a job, do you want the job to finish? You don't. You want the job to continue so you can continue making the $20 million a day. Doesn't make sense. So this group of people say, no, enough. We don't want this. Matter of fact, Mali accused France of serving terrorists with equipment and intelligence services. They went to the United Nations and say, France, we kicked them out of our country, but they are serving terrorists with drones and equipment. They even say we need a meeting where we can explain and show the proof that we have.
The world will remember that after being abandoned in mid-air on the 10th of June 2021 by France's unilateral decision to withdraw the Barkhane force from Mali, he says, my country was then stabbed in the back by the French authorities. In view of the seriousness of the acts committed by the French junta, Mali, in its letter dated 15th of August 2022, requested an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council. The purpose of this meeting is to allow Mali to present the evidence in its possession, demonstrating that the French army has repeatedly attacked my country.
France must sit there and answer. They refuse to give them a meeting. That's what shows you that the entire system is rigged. The actual problem we have right now is that Malian people are fighting this government. Now, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's just think here. Why would they fight the government? You're probably thinking Goïta is doing the right thing for the people of Mali. And why is he being fought? Well, the justification is Goïta was supposed to do the election like a while back, and he's extended that to a few years to stay in power. Therefore, they must be angry because there's a lot of people, a lot of dissidents that are not happy with him. They feel like he throw people in jail. People feel like they have no right to express themselves. Whenever they express themselves, they're thrown in jail. Have there people been thrown in jail? Yes, there have been people thrown in jail. Do they have proof to do that? Well, they have proof to do that. The question is, people are angry especially because of the elections. Now, the question you must ask yourself is it the right time to do the election? Question mark. Because, look at Ukraine. In Ukraine, every dissident of the government was shut down. Even political parties. The people that were saying, let's find a solution with Russia, let's talk, they were all shut down. Political parties were shut down. Even the church, Orthodox Church, was shut down because they felt they were pro-Russia. Did people go on uproar and angry? No. Well, Mali has shut down TV station from France. Why? Because they were talking positively about terrorists, saying they're winning, they're advancing, they're very strong. So Mali feels like, why would I allow you to speak to my people, to my channels, and you are just gunning me down in terms of propaganda? Does it make sense for a country to say, I'm shutting down this TV channel because they are doing things that are not beneficial to me? You tell me what you think. I mean, the TV station RT was blocked from broadcasting in Europe because they didn't want the Russian version of the story to be heard. I mean, the Europeans thought that all the people in the world are not smart enough. They're stupid. So let's feed them with our version of the truth. Let's not allow them. I mean, they could have allowed people to watch the RT from Russia and watch them and make their own conclusions, right? Well, they didn't do that. They say, we're not going to listen to the Russians. We're shutting them down because whatever they're saying goes against what we're saying. Well, if the Ukrainian and the European can do it, why can Mali do it? Now, does this justify if they are doing negative things to the people? Absolutely not. I think it comes a time where you have to do the right thing. Now, the other question is, could this President Goïta got an acquired taste to power where you can start with being good? Because some people say sometimes an African president will want to be good at start, until he understands that he has power, he has money and opportunities and things, and he doesn't want to go anymore. People are accusing him of staying in power beyond the promised time. Now, does this justify their attack? Maybe not. Maybe he's got a reason. You know, one of the reasons why you may stay in power, just like Zelensky, is because you're at war. Okay? Zelensky stayed in power. There was no election. There was change in the government, but there was no election because they're still under the threat of Russia. Now, can Zelensky use it and not Mali? Let me know how you feel about this. It was a great pleasure. God bless.